All right, for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at yet another Masters of the Universe Origins figure, and this time we are taking a look at the Man-at-Arms, another figure from Wave 1. And if you're unfamiliar with the Masters of the Universe Origins line, basically the whole idea with this line is to take the original sort of 1980s Masters of the Universe figures and then give them updated articulation and just, they're more or less like re-releases with extra articulation. Obviously, the sculpts are different, but they're very inspired by the original, so they try to stay pretty close. And yeah, Man-at-Arms is a pretty good figure here. He shares quite a few parts with He-Man. I'm pretty sure, other than the head, the armor, and the accessories, everything is the exact same sculpted part. Like the body, all parts of the arms, all parts of the legs, it's all the same. But it's still with a different color scheme and a different accessories, they still have a pretty different vibe to them. Especially since, like, by sculpting, him in green, it really makes it look like he's wearing like a skin tight, armor suit versus He-Man, who is just skin out. So it works well enough. It's sort of the kind of thing where it's like you don't totally realize that the parts are the same until you really stop and look at the figures, because it has such a different vibe. But it also just does kind of add a lot of continuity to the line anyway. It makes them feel more like the originals, who again also used a lot of shared parts. But yeah, articulation wise, his head is on a pretty good ball joint here. You can kind of have it looking up over his little cowl here, or down into it. Shoulders are exactly the same as He-Man and Skeletor, just on this universal joint that can rotate out one and then can rotate around 360. Elbow bend, wrist rotation. Oh, he's also got the bicep rotation there, wrist rotation and bend there. Unfortunately, this wrist on mine is super floppy. I guess like just it was packed with this like kind of out, so it compressed the bit that's supposed to like actually have friction in there. So when you popped it back in, it's just kind of loose and floppy, which kind of sucks when holding his weapon, because it it wants to do that a lot of the time. But you can kind of balance it and get it out. But that's also probably more of an issue just with my copy in particular than every copy of this toy. But he's also got a waist rotation, just like the other two. Hips are on ball joints, can rotate up that far, back not very far at all, and then can rotate out about that much. Knees also on that same sort of universal joint deal, where they can bend about that far, and then also have the rotation. It's got the stupid boot cut rotation that doesn't look good in any position other than straight forward. He's got universal joints of the feet, just like the others, can bend forward and back, and then has that rotation that is influenced by the bend of the joint there. And then yeah, he's his main sort of feature is that he's got all these rubbery armor bits on him, and all of those you can take off and move to different places. I think he's packaged with just this bit on, and then the other three you have to put on. I find this one kind of flops down a lot, but you get it on there and you kind of like get it behind the other armor piece. It makes it look like he's got, that jointed sort of robot-y armor rather than two separate pieces, which is pretty cool. But, you do have to kind of keep an eye on that piece to make sure it doesn't just like slide off. And then he's got his little battle mace hammer weapon here. And yeah, it's pretty cool. He can hold it. He doesn't have any storage for it like He-Man does. Again, you can kind of like just shove it behind the strap there, but you don't really want to like stretch out the plastic too much, but you want him holding it anyway. It's fine. But yeah, the aside from the wrist thing, he's just as good as the other two. Like I said in the He-Man video, I find that the quality on these guys varies a little bit. Like sometimes they're prone to having loose joints like this, and sometimes they're totally solid. It's kind of a roll of the dice, which is kind of a bummer, but hey, they're $15 action figures, so it's not too bad. And most of the time it's manageable anyway. Like him, when I put him in a pose, I can kind of get that to stay. It's just when I'm messing around with him, it just kind of flops around. But yeah, I'll show him off again with here he is for some Transformer comparisons, just so you can see the height there. There he is with Optimus, Sideswipe, and Starscream, just for some, common molds that a lot of people probably have if you collect Transformers nowadays. And then here he is again with He-Man and Skeletor. And yeah, You know, if he's one of the sort of like main characters, so he was definitely one of the ones that I wanted to pick up just for sort of like having the main cast, but he's not quite as exciting as some of the other ones to me, but he's still a nice, good little figure, and I love his his mustachioed face sculpt there. Very cool. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Masters of the Universe Origins Man at Arms.